The news hit America's heartland hard. John Deere, a symbol of American farming, announced a major production shutdown in the U.S. for generations. A job at John Deere meant stability and pride. Now, entire communities felt betrayed. The company's decision to shift operations to Mexico was more than a business move. It was a sign of a changing global economy. In towns like Waterloo, Iowa, and Moline, Illinois, John Deere isn't just an employer, it's the backbone of the local economy. The ripple effects were immediate. Small businesses braced for fewer customers, local governments worried about shrinking tax revenues, and families faced an uncertain future. The timing couldn't have been more politically charged, with a presidential election looming and manufacturing jobs at the center of debate. Politicians seized on the closure, turning it into a national issue overnight. For many, the shutdown wasn't just about tractors, it was about the future of American industry. The announcement left communities in crisis, questioning what would come next for their towns and way of life. The story of John Deere's shutdown is a familiar one in industrial America: jobs moving overseas, communities left behind. The company cited global competition and the need to cut costs, but for workers, those explanations rang hollow. The loss of these jobs threatened the entire social fabric of these towns. The fate of John Deere's workers became a symbol of what's at stake for the American worker. The closure was more than a headline, it was a turning point for families, businesses, and the nation's sense of itself. As the dust settled, one question echoed: what does the future hold for American manufacturing? The answer, it seemed, would depend on what happened next. Donald Trump wasted no time responding. At a Pennsylvania farm event, he stood before John Deere tractors and issued a bold ultimatum. If John Deere moved production to Mexico, he'd slap a 200% tariff on every tractor coming back. The message was clear: build in America or pay the price. Trump's threat wasn't just about John Deere, it was a warning to all corporations considering outsourcing. He spoke directly to farmers and rural workers, promising to fight for their jobs and livelihoods. The crowd responded to his tough talk, seeing him as a champion against corporate greed and global competition. Trump contrasted his approach with the current administration, blaming them for policies that drive companies overseas. The 200% tariff was dramatic, designed to grab headlines and show he meant business. For many in the crowd, this was the leadership they wanted, someone willing to take on even the biggest American brands. Trump's aggressive stance on tariffs is a core part of his political identity. His message resonated with voters who feel left behind by globalization. The speech turned John Deere's decision into a rallying cry for American manufacturing. For Trump's supporters, it was a promise to restore a lost era of economic security. John Deere quickly responded to Trump's threat. The company emphasized its deep American roots and ongoing investments in U.S. factories, trying to reassure workers and the public. At the same time, Deere defended its decision to move some manufacturing to Mexico, calling it necessary to stay competitive. The company's statement tried to balance loyalty to America with the realities of global business, but the market reacted swiftly. John Deere's stock price dropped after Trump's remarks, showing how political threats can shake even the biggest companies. Investors worried about the impact of a massive tariff on profits and supply chains. The controversy highlighted the tightrope American companies walk, balancing shareholder demands, global competition, and political pressure. When a company becomes a political target, it must defend itself on multiple fronts. John Deere's careful response was an attempt to calm the storm, but the company found itself caught between economic reality and political fire. The incident showed how quickly business decisions can become national flashpoints. For John Deere, the challenge was clear: how to survive in a world where politics and business are more intertwined than ever. The fallout was immediate, but the long-term impact was just beginning to unfold. The company's legacy and its future were now up for debate. Trump's confrontation with John Deere followed a familiar playbook. Throughout his career, he's publicly targeted companies like Apple, GM, and Harley-Davidson for moving jobs overseas. Unlike past presidents who worked behind the scenes, Trump uses public pressure and threats, tariffs, boycotts, even federal contract cancellations. This confrontational style creates uncertainty for corporate leaders, who must now weigh political fallout with every decision. Critics argue this approach injects chaos into the market and undermines free enterprise. The Wall Street Journal and business leaders warn that presidents shouldn't dictate private business strategy. Yet for Trump supporters, these battles reinforce his image as a populist willing to take on powerful interests. When he targets a company like John Deere, he signals to his base that he's fighting for them. For corporate America, it's a warning. Business strategy and political survival are now deeply connected. Trump's tactics may be controversial, but they're politically effective. The result is a new era of uncertainty for American business. The rules of engagement between government and corporations are being rewritten in real time. Trade experts warn that Trump's tariff threat is a risky economic gamble. A 200% tariff on Mexican-made John Deere equipment would drive up prices for American farmers, the very people Trump claims to protect. Higher costs could push farmers to buy from foreign competitors, hurting John Deere and American jobs. Such tariffs could also violate the USMCA trade agreement, sparking broader trade disputes. Economists argue that using tariffs as a weapon creates instability and discourages investment. Instead, they suggest incentives, like tax breaks or worker training, to boost domestic manufacturing. The consensus is clear: while bringing jobs back is a worthy goal, punitive tariffs could do more harm than good. The stakes are high, not just for John Deere, but for the entire U.S. economy. The debate over tariffs is about more than trade. It's about the future of American competitiveness. The outcome will shape the landscape for years to come. Trump's choice of Pennsylvania for his announcement was strategic. This battleground state often decides presidential elections. Rural and working-class voters here have been hit hard by factory closures and job losses. Trump's tough talk on tariffs and American industry is designed to win over these voters. Farmers voiced concerns about foreign ownership of U.S. farmland and threats to their way of life. Trump positioned himself as a defender of American land and jobs, tapping into deep-seated anxieties. He also attacked opponents on issues like fracking, crucial to Pennsylvania's economy. The John Deere fight in Pennsylvania is a microcosm of the national debate over jobs, trade, and identity. Both parties know the road to the White House runs through states like this. The battle for Pennsylvania's rural vote is a battle for the country's future direction. The stakes are local and national, personal and political. This single event became a flashpoint in a much larger struggle. The outcome here could tip the balance in the next election. The John Deere controversy highlights the stark divide in messages to rural voters. Trump promises protectionism, tariffs, tough talk, and a return to American industrial might. His message resonates in communities that feel left behind. Democrats, led by Kamala Harris, argue Trump's policies help the wealthy, not working families. They tout investments in infrastructure, clean energy, and small business as the real path forward. The choice for rural voters is clear: restoration through confrontation or progress through investment. The divide is about more than policy. It's about culture, identity, and the future of rural America. Both sides are fighting for the same voters, but with fundamentally different visions. The outcome will shape not just the election but the nation's direction for years to come. The John Deere incident marks a new era for American business. Public threats from political leaders now add a layer of risk to every corporate decision. Companies must weigh economic logic against the possibility of becoming a political target. This challenges the core principle of free enterprise, where business decisions are made in the marketplace, not by politicians. CEOs are caught between shareholder demands and the fear of public condemnation or tariffs. The result is a chilling effect. Businesses may hesitate to invest or innovate. A stable policy environment is essential for growth, but unpredictability now looms large. The John Deere case is a warning. Any company can be drawn into the political arena overnight. The relationship between government and business is being redefined. The consequences will ripple through the economy for years to come. The standoff between Trump and John Deere brings America to a crossroads. One path, protectionism and high tariffs, promises to restore manufacturing by shutting out global competition. The other, global integration, focuses on innovation, education, and competing on the world stage. Each path has risks. Tariffs could raise prices and spark trade wars. Globalization could pressure wages and communities. The debate is about more than economics. It's about American identity and the future of work. The choices made now will shape the price of goods, the types of jobs available, and the nation's economic health. As the 2025 election approaches, the John Deere controversy is a stark reminder of what's at stake. The story is about more than tractors and tariffs. It's about who we are as a country. The next chapter will be written by voters, businesses, and leaders alike. Will America turn inward or embrace the challenges of a connected world? The answer remains unwritten.